And here is the situation. You've got to get the win in at least, Stevie, I got to think one of these races of 3 today to get yourself a good shot on Super Sunday.
Yeah, and I expect we're already down to potentially 2 for each. I mean, you just got to love Mother Nature. Look, the wind's rotating as that cloud goes past there, so the crews are having to adapt. Black foils, bottom of the screen, they're lined up with our sort of favoured position to be on the line. The Rolex pole predictor sat on the top of Mubadala, Brazil. France make a last-minute dive underneath the black foils.
Ooh, I think
they're all
early.
very tight back to the line here. Bondslet Rouge look crazy early into the line. They're all going to get super slow. Mubadala, Brazil might have nowhere to go. Got to slow up early there on board the Brazilian boat and hope for a gap late. 10 seconds to go. Rockwell still early. Can North Star find a gap? I don't see it right now. They've got to have eyes out for the French. 5 seconds to go. It's going to be a blanket start. Oh, perfect by the black foils. I think they kept their nose back. Now it's a race to the foils. There should be more wind to the top of the line. Less distance down the line. Black foils look fast at the gun. Burling's back with a bullet.
Keep going until we're negative. Jib's good. No.
See here, we're low on numbers in the crew here, and everyone's having to multitask. Interesting here, the black foils. That looks like they got Leo Takahashi right at the back of the boat. Liv McCarthy trying to work out the crew, and Bond's flying Rouge. Look at the pace on the Australian. Slingsby threaded the needle. Double speed.
Feel like keeping it, eh? What do you reckon? Might be close here.
30 kilometres an hour, Todd. That's the magic number if you want to get on the foils. Once Flying Rouge are close.
Slingsby possibly driving that boat a little angry after coming so close to winning race number 1. It was abandoned, so the results do not count. As they approach mark number 1, once again, it's deja vu all over again. The Bonds Flying Rouge will have the mark.
I think we're clear here.
Rolling down, are we clear?
Looks to me like the Bonds Flying Rouge is clear ahead. They own the mark here.
I'm just going.
Go the Rolex sprint leader. Australia chooses to turn left straight away again. Looks like black foils are thinking about following. Clearly more wind on that side of the course. They both choose to rotate. What does Oscaios do? Heading down to that gate, top right-hand corner of our screen. That's where they're all headed. You can see at the moment, not much wind. Los Gallos, I kind of like the fact, oh no, they choose to move away as well. They're obviously seeing more wind to the left-hand side of our screen.
And Hannah, if you're some of the teams like Los Gallos, you're loving this restart because they were at the very back of the pack. They were looking at 0 points for the first race.
Yeah, that's right, but I think, you know, it's all in for this race, and I think that manoeuvre early around Mark 1 makes sense. Just if you look at the lay of the land, the wind is coming more kind of into the harbour from here, so it would make sense that it would pick up in the middle first, where all of those teams are heading at the moment.
It's so painful when you get stuck at the back here, Todd. We can see Rockwell, just you get in a traffic jam, you've got no rights, you having to make decisions based off what other people do. Slingsby's making his own decisions, but I've got to, I have no idea how the Bonds Flying Rouge got to that mark first off that start. They were slow, they were stuck up, and the acceleration they got. Ian Jensen, magician.
So early to the line, they had to basically kill 18 seconds before the line went wide. It looked like it was going to belong to the Black Foils of New Zealand. And there's Tom Slingsby once again out in front, going H1, flying a hole. Not enough pressure to fly them both at this point. So it is showing on the table. It's Australia, the Bonds Flying Rouge out in front. Spain in second, with the Black Foils of New Zealand now sitting in second, overtaking Los Gallos, Spain.
Are they matching?
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like that when they do this next manoeuvre, that's when they should start making some real progress towards the next gate. This has almost been a bit of a setup leg, sailing kind of parallel across the course.
Oh, good.
Until Slingsby's making good decisions, because Burling's literally like he's tied on a bit of string following him behind on the black foils there. Normally a pretty good sign that you're making good calls, but it's an opportunity to attack here for Los Gallos. Don't be surprised to see them come a little wider. No, they're going to follow
France
as well.
has got some speed.
They've all got some speed, but they're just lining up in a straight line. Had the Spanish come further, they could end up in the disturbed wind from the other boats. And foiling in the background, right-hand side there, Rockwool, Denmark, but they're going to come into that traffic jam ahead. Can they stay on the foils here?
A big moment for the Danes right now.
Oh, they're getting a bit low at the back. Oh, they just overrode the small foil at the back. They overrode that, didn't get fast enough. Fell off the foils, but they've made a big gain. They've still got more speed than the other boats. We're on board Rockwool here. Tom Johnson, Nikolai Serhested. Sometimes when you get that far behind Hannah, it suddenly turns into an opportunity because you're so far out of phase.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you can also pick your way around the course a little bit better. I think they've done a nice job there. I think there probably wasn't enough wind, regardless of how well they executed that maneuver, to stay up on the foils. But it'll be interesting to see what they do here, because they're on the outside of the fleet for that left turn.
Yeah.
And I think with these gate marks, they look like they're quite far apart. So I think we'll probably see most of these teams going around the same mark.
All right, Stevie, what's your confidence level as they approach Gate 2, the DP World Gate, that they're going to be able to finish this in 9 minutes?
Getting it now.
Well, Todd, that's some question, mate, that is. I don't know. What I'm a bit surprised at is that Slingsby's turning right. It looks like more distance he's going to sail here. And the fact that this bottom right-hand corner of screen's had more wind. Now, he can see more than me. I can only see what you can see on the screen here. But what I can see is it's less distance for the black foils to sail. And less distance seems a pretty guaranteed thing. One person that might be able to see, Lisa Darmanin. Left or right, Lisa?
Well, I think what's happened is that the breeze did that big rotation right, and then as it settles in, it's going to go back to the left. So I don't mind the decision that the Bonds Flying Roos have made. I think that continuing that momentum, being able to pop a hull around that, and there's a little bit of wind funneling along that shore. So I think he might have made the right call, Stevie.
Ooh, at 5 minutes. So he's got 4 minutes to get up to the course, as they will finish once again at the Windward Gate. If you were with us just a few moments ago, Australia was in front and 3 seconds short of finishing the race, so abandoned. Those results were scrapped, and here we are again. So it's the Bonds Flying Roos out in front again, and here we go, Stevie, at 30. They're getting close. Spain hits 32.
Yeah, the Aussies have been foiling all the way to that boundary, Todd. Lisa said it right. There was more wind that way. They're off the foils now. Black foils took an age to get back and going, sailing through the disturbed wind from the other boats. We'll come back to who can get on the foils first after this manoeuvre, I would say. Aussies are building speed. Black foils are sailing less distance, but they're going slower for it. It's all about whether the Bonds Flying Roos can get on the foils.
Nice breeze this way, I think. That's just...
And what a story that would be. What a welcome back for the Black Foils' newly purchased squad in SailGP, out of the competition for nearly 4 months after the big collision event 2 in Auckland. And here they are. No rust on them, Hammer Diamond.
No, that's right. I think they're always going to come back reasonably strong, especially in these conditions. But at the moment, it's all about what do they do at this boundary. They're probably going to manoeuvre and head behind the Bonds Flying Roos and potentially Spain as well. But it's all about a race to the top gate here, because that's where this race will be finishing.
Close to the finish here, Todd. You can see the Bonds Flying Roos, they've got it done. They got foiling, they've sailed it, but they look really, really fast here, the Australian team. They're going to manoeuvre. Should be a fairly straightforward one. Right of way, the interesting race for me now is Spain, middle of our screen. Bottom of our screen, the Black Foils. Finish line coming, 50 metres away. Bonds Flying Roos are going to get it done. Foiling on board the Spanish boat. They need one more good manoeuvre to hold off the Black Foils.
Time will not be an issue this go-around, as race number 1 officially goes the way of the Bonds Flying Roos here in Halifax, and Los Gallos spins it in right behind the Australians, and Spain will pick up second.
Spanish gain 2 on the Kiwis.
Yeah, turning here.
Spain did a big gain there, so Lisa's got it. She did say that right turn at the bottom was good. We got more breeze filling in here. We see the Black Foils where they were foiling in behind Los Gallos. So really the big winner in that cancelled race, no cancelled race, is the Spanish. They were way out the back, as we see the Brazilians, Paul Goodison driving. He hasn't got the right of way. He's got to be careful when he gets towards that mark. He will have room. He is entitled to squeeze in between the mark and the finish here. He does have the right of way. France must give him room, but it's going to be a dive to the finish.
And at the line, it will be Mubadala, Brazil, just ahead of France and Canada.
What a tight finish there, and North Star, oh, they didn't quite get it done. They've got ahead of Rockwell. Rockwell nearly got back in the race, but as we said, they're on the outside at the bottom gate there. Good fast race from the Bonds Flying Roos.
So the Bonds Flying Roos repeat what they did in an abandoned race 1 and get the victory. Spain holds on for second place, with the Black Foils of New Zealand getting third. Mubadala, Brazil, with Paul Goodison at the wheel, finish in 4th place, with DS Team France in 5th. North Star Canada, the home team, finished in 6th place, with Rockwell, Denmark, missing out on points as they finish in 7th. All the teams late to get into that start box.
Pin lay, 40 to
So
kill.
the importance of picking a good position right now, Hannah, is going to be huge.
34.
Yeah, that's right, and especially with the wind just clocking up over 20 kilometres an hour, that's quite significantly more than we had in the first race today, and with just 4 people on board, it's going to be really tricky to sail the boat.
Yeah, and it was from the west, wasn't it? It's nearly from the north now, so it's pretty full-on changing conditions as we see here. Explorer Swiss, they manoeuvre back. They are a team that will be looking for a good result here this weekend. Artemis been struggling with their starting, but can Outridge master this smaller fleet format? He's got a bit more space. They've had the most overtakes this season, but he needs to try and get his elbows out at Mark 1 if he can. Rolex pole predictor sits on Germany Deutsche Bank. Plenty of space on this line. Explorer Spirit's coming in fast. Might get themselves a bit early back to the line. They've certainly going to be able to slow up Artemis. Canfield, the starting master.
Here we go with the Americans.
He's foiling with 4 seconds to go. Here come the US team in the middle of the line. All the boats are late, but brilliant from the US. They should be able to drive over the top with a faster angle towards Mark 1.
Got to press over these guys now. We're threatened because of that.
So here comes Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team, winners in Sydney, trying to get their second event victory of the season. Can they get it done here in Halifax? What a great start.
Yeah, they're struggling here. They've got to try and get down towards the circle at Mark 1. The wind is rotated so far round. They're nearly sailing a downwind angle here. Big rotation. It'll be interesting to see where they sail. They have got down to the mark. Total tactical control for Canfield. He's going to look to stretch out. Can any of the teams nail a foiling manoeuvre? Is it windy enough is going to be absolutely crucial. There go the Explorer Swiss team. They manoeuvre away. Germany Deutsche Bank will follow, as do the US.
Rolex sprint leaders, Stars and Stripes, US SailGP, they get mark number 1. They get the whole shot. They are being followed closely by Emirates GBR and Germany by Deutsche Bank.
Got to say, Hannah, that was pretty impressive. Anna Weiss has been grinder. I feel like this change in configuration almost hurts them the most, but she's straight on the wheel there. Perfect jibe.
Yeah, that's right, and it kind of shows she is a really good all-round sailor, but this definitely impacts them the most out of all of the crews with this configuration change.
Germany own the mark here. Emirates GBR have got to be sure they're ahead. I think he was clear there, Dylan Fletcher, and they could be a split there. I like where the British and the US are going. Looks like space, but for Artemis and Italy, well, they're way out the back early on.
You can see just as the wind's picked up here how much the fleet just stretches out. So all important on the start here. The teams at the back are going to have to work really hard to catch up.
And stand by.
There we go. We've got Mac Agnese on the grinding handles there, spinning the handles. There goes Mike Manager, sets up for the manoeuvre. He's going to grab the wing sheet. Right-hand side of screen, Anna Weiss. Well, she's normally grinding, but she's going to take the wheel when Canfield's happy they've turned. There they go. Change your roll.
Turning if he calls angle, okay? What do you think on the build here? Going to invest?
It's a bit lighter again, Todd.
Yep. They've sailed into a pocket. Only the Germans and the Italians right now are over that 30-kilometer-an-hour threshold, and now Red Bull Italy drops below. So the Americans right at that point of 30, being able to pop up onto the foils with Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher right behind them.
Yeah, so the interesting thing with when you've got these smaller foils here, as we see the Rolex chasing time, 8 seconds back there, they're not really closing at the moment. Once you've got smaller foils, once you get on the foils, you go faster. But it's harder to take off with a smaller foil, and when you're actually hoping to do a manoeuvre, you've got to have way more speed. You've got to be over 46, 47 at least. So the Explorer Swiss are right on the limit of potentially doing a foiling turn on the next manoeuvre.
Let's are going for a foil here, I think.
They did manage to foil all the way from that left-hand boundary, so let's see here if they can stay up on the foils.
I think so. Do you want to try to foil to left turn and drive?
It'll be interesting when we come back to a wide. We can see the US, they're lined up, massive grandstand in the background there. US team come in. Swiss are showing as third. I think they must have done a good manoeuvre there. They're still foiling. The Swiss must have nailed the foiling tack there, turning the boat through the wind, over 46 kilometers an hour in. That's such a key thing for me today. I think if you get the speed, be aggressive, keep the speed, try and nail those foiling maneuvers.
2, 1, board. And turning. Nice pressure building on the nose.
Go splitting the course here. Explorer Swiss are just loving it. They're throwing the boat around. Another foiling tack there on board.
Okay, mountain. Nice white.
Well, they just about managed to keep on the foils there. It'll be interesting to see afterwards how much distance they've sailed compared to some of the other teams, because they're bouncing left and right, but they're doing a really nice job of staying up on the foils, as they definitely go past US SailGP team who've parked up after that mark.
Yeah, and Artemis are taking the right turn as well. It's clearly more wind to the bottom of our screen. Lisa, are you seeing more wind where the Swiss are? Because it certainly looks like it from this angle.
Yeah, it's quite patchy. Obviously, they managed to stick the foiling maneuver on the other side near the grandstand, and now they're going on the opposite side. So I actually just think they're really in sync with these conditions. Looks like they're whipping the boat around really nicely in the maneuvers. But yeah, obviously super punishing for USA there. So patchy around the course. I think you've really got to go with what you see at the mark at the time.
It is Explora Switzerland right now out in front. Sebastian Schneider, a 3-time Olympian, 12 national titles at the wheel. They've got themselves a huge lead as they sail into some great pressure on the course. Second place belongs to Nathan Outridge and Artemis. Third belongs to Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan doesn't need a second chance, does he? If he sees an opportunity, and it was laid out pretty plain to him by the Swiss that there was more wind there, and they just made that aggressive move, split away. It's turned into 200-300 metres. The interesting thing with the light winds, Todd, is actually once you have 2 or 3 kilometres an hour more wind, percentage-wise, it's a massive increase in potential horsepower. So a little change in the wind in this light conditions, as we see bottom here, go up into the Oracle Cloud, you see that foiling percentage well. That's why the Swiss are looking pretty good here. It's not all about foiling, it's an indication that they've kept the boat speed high around the course.
Nathan Outridge talking with Chris Draper on board with him. They've sailed together quite a bit. Second place now belongs to Artemis. Explora Switzerland makes the move around gate number 4, the DP World Gate. They'll make their way back up. But there you see how the fleet has spread out. Remember, this is Group B, just 6 boats compared to 7 in Group A.
Yeah, a little bit more space, but a little bit more breeze as well here, you see. And I think what we're seeing is there is that slight pattern. The wind is moving around. You've got to have your head out of the boat. But once you get the opportunity to have some speed, you've got to maximise that. And I think as well, just 5 people on the boat, Hannah, just makes managing the boat a lot more possible.
Yeah, it does. It's, that extra set of hands does make a huge amount of difference. You're only missing one kind of set of horsepower from the front, and in these conditions, the wing trimming can a lot of that can be done from the twist control, not just on winding the wing sheet.
Explora Swiss, you see, Todd. You see that blue line on the screen there? That's taking us up to 1 mark. The Swiss are going to go there, left turn and into the finish. So looking really good for the Swiss now. Leg 5 or 6, just a couple of minutes away from the finish. And if they can get foiling fairly soon, well, they're going to bring it home. Germany, Deutsche Bank, good position. And look, it's just challenging. US, commanding lead, and they're all the way back to 6th, though. I think they'll be 4th come the bottom gate, but it just shows how hard it is.
One of those days where actually sometimes being in the lead isn't that helpful because you've got to pick the way and then everyone else can see whether it's paying off for you or not.
USA looking like they're going from 5th into 4th place, so they will pick up some points in this group of 6. Group number B, as they come to the mark, it will be Explora Switzerland that makes the left-hand turn, and they will head towards the finish line and pick up the maximum points for the win in Group B, with 2 more races scheduled for each of our groups, weather permitting. But a big victory, and what a way to start out for this Event 7, the Canada Sail Grand Prix here in Halifax, for Sebastian Schneider as Explora Switzerland comes to the line, and they will claim the win in race number 1 for Group B.
Yeah, I mean, they nailed that. You know, some people might say they got lucky. They didn't. They just had the speed. They executed a phenomenal manoeuvre. And yeah, Seb Schneider got it done.
So now the battle to see who will take 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it looks like Nathan Outridge and Artemis are going to be in the perfect position as they will bring it home. As you see the wind markers on your screen coming across, not quite as gusty as we saw earlier, Stevie, but there you see the course direction, the way they're going and how strong they are. The stronger the wind, the wider those stripes will get, as Nathan Outridge spins it around that last mark, and he is just 200 meters away from the finish.
Yeah, I mean, done a good job. It's an interesting one with Artemis. If I look at their stats for the season, downwind, they've overtaken 48 boats over the season. That's before this race, where they've definitely overtaken a few more. But he's not getting off the start line. So they still really got to work at that. I mean, brilliant sailing by the team there. Sailed fast and smooth.
So Artemis finishes in 2nd place, and it looks like Germany by Deutsche Bank will hold on for 3rd, as the race will terminate in 40 seconds. So it's race to the line. I don't know if the US SailGP team's going to get there in time.
Well, they'll just go back to the bottom gate. So they'll go back to their position around that, which I think was 5th, if I'm right. I think they were 5th round there, so they'll take that result. But yeah, I mean, what's interesting is we talk about the start normally being so massive. in this race, the first two boats at Mark 1 are actually sitting in 5th and 6th right now. So it's a really changeable conditions. You've got to have your head out. You've got to roll with the punches when you get them. But if you get the speed, if you get the boat foiling, drive it hard. Make sure you build speed before your next maneuver.
It really was a tale of two halves in this race because the U.S. and Emirates GBR looked so good in the first half, and here we are finding them as the race terminates at the very back. So the race has now been terminated for Group B. And Hannah, once again, looks like the breeze is going to be a little bit less for Group A, so they're going to find themselves in challenging conditions to time it just right to get to that line when it goes white.
Yeah, definitely looks quite light at the moment, and so lining up for the start is going to be super important. If anyone can get up on the foil, that's going to be a huge advantage.
40,
Positioning pretty crucial. France looked late to my eye, right-hand side of screen there. North Star as well, but again, Brazil and Rockwool Denmark are pretty early. They're in a little bit of a private tussle, trying to muscle their way back, keep control at the front of the thing. I like where the Bonds Flying Roos and Blackfoils are at the moment. Nicely positioned. Looks like reasonable breeze coming down the course. It's perhaps rotated a little bit back to the left. Should suit the middle of the line as an optimum place to start. The wind there suggests the top of the line, but I think it'll be hard to execute that accurately. 14 seconds to go. Mubadala Brazil, Rolex Pole Predictor sits on them. DS Automobile France, the top of the line are fast. Will he get a gap? Will he get it foiling? Bonds Flying Roos winding up. 5 seconds to go. There's only going to be 3 boats on time. Oh, Mubadala Brazil, brilliant out the middle of the line. Bonds Flying Roos and Blackfoils there and well positioned as well. But can Rockwool build the speed at the top and roll over the top? It's again a race to the foils, but the wind is lighter. Fast on board Denmark, 30 km/h on the top of the wing. They should foil. Sehersted's got a chance. Oh, they've fallen back off. They maybe tried to force it.
Nice.
You've got to be building that speed, but also sailing into more pressure, so it might just be that it's getting a little bit lighter up there.
No, I've got dip too.
I think what I'm seeing as well, these smaller foils, it's more than 30. I'm so used to that 30, but that's bigger foils. They're probably looking at 32. If you try and take off too soon, you kind of then end up stalling the foils and it has a big crash down. Patience is key on a day like today. Patience, Steve.
So as they get to the circle and mark number 1, it looks like the whole shot's going to belong to the team that needs it the most. Rockwool Denmark, who finished last in race number 1, they will get the mark and they will lead these 7 boats here for Group A into race number 2.
You see that wind really has rotated to the left because the Bonds Flying Roos struggling to get there. And top of the line for Rockwool Denmark, well, they've done a great job. Sehersted really needs this race. Really, really needs it, and it's a good performance to Mark 1. You see the Bonds Flying Roos and New Zealand, they've been caught out by that wind rotating left. Really punished, didn't see it coming, and well, how does Slingsby slip back through the fleet from here?
So they do have an advantage, Hannah. They get 1 more crew member on board. Remember the last race, race number 1 for them, it was 4. Now they're up to 5.
Yeah, that's right, and I think when you're up and foiling, that definitely helps, but I think it's less of an advantage when we're in these H2 conditions, but hopefully wind will pick up enough for them to get foiling, but at the moment it looks like a race of H2 sailing, so both hulls in the water sailing as far down the course as you can.
Yeah, big decision here as well. Interesting, the Bonds Flying Roos and the Blackfoils have split. Blackfoils are going to come back to more wind, so they're short-term positioned well. Slingsby's playing a bit of a longer-term game. I think he's going to go all the way to the boundary, try and make gate 2 in one manoeuvre. Blackfoils are going to be more complex, but if the wind's good, that's what Liv Mackay says. She likes the pressure this way. More wind, more speed.
Let's check down on the water with Lisa. Lisa, is there more wind coming for this Group A because they've been sailing in such light breeze? And how confident are you that they can finish this race in 9 minutes?
Oh, there's not a lot of confidence out here, Todd. Everything's changing so fast. It's really hard to predict. So I'm sure the sailors are having a tough time too. Looking around the course, you know, North Stars, they did the early manoeuvre. They've got a hull out of the water, which indicates that they are in more pressure. So the home team might have a little bit of magic here, but yeah, very hard to call.
Wow, look at this, Stevie. Look at the angle. They aren't even going towards the gate right now. They're just trying to find pressure. There you see right there the light blue lines coming across. Really just thin, not a lot of pressure there. You see the speeds on the mast under 20 kilometers an hour. There you see Mubadala Brazil just hitting 20. But as you pointed out, with these rudders, this configuration, they're going to need to be closer to 32 before they can foil.
Yeah, I think so. And interesting, you can see Canada, you can't see the camera angle now, but they really wound the wing on to try and generate as much power in that wing, a bit like an aeroplane coming into land. You really make it round and fat. But the problem you have with that, if you do it too much, you stall all the flow around it. Slingsby, Ian Jensen, the wing trimmer on that. He's really got it set up for light winds. He's got the whole thing eased. He's just saying, okay, there's not a lot of wind. We're going to be patient. We're going to play the long term. And actually, we talked about Australia making the move at Mark 1 for the long term game. At the moment, they're sat in second. Brilliant, brilliant comeback by there. But I think a lot of that accurate wing trimming, and they're just being really patient, letting that what wind there is gently flow around the wing.
One more pump and starboard, Magpie.
You see the situation with the wind as the skyline of the shoreline of those big buildings really blocking any breeze that's coming through there. So there's really a narrow channel for them, Hannah. And so far it has been Group B that's got the better breeze, although they did have their problems. Just ask US SailGP team, because they sailed into a pocket of no breeze. But right now, Denmark out in front, a team that finished in last place in the first race. This would be huge if they could get the win.
Yeah, and I think they've got a big call here because there's 3 boats there who potentially they're further to the right of them as we look down the course. So they're going to split away here. It's all going to be down to who gets the best pressure out of this gate mark.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's traffic jam coming up here, Tom, because those boats in front, the Spanish are going to just dip down in front. They own the mark, but they will be slow. Blackfoils are coming in nearly twice the speed, but they've got no right of way. They're going to have to follow, and well, a very hard decision here for the Bonds Flying Ruse. Slingsby's done a good job. Slow the boat up. Sometimes you've got to go slow to then line yourself up for a tight exit. You've got to be following as tight as you can. Otherwise, if you'd been wide on the outside, you'd have a lot less wind.
Well, home team is in 7th place right now, so they're in a position not to get any points in race number 2. Rockwell, Denmark taking the tough side. Less traffic, Stevie, but less breeze as well. Mubadla Brazil has followed them, as the other boats have decided to go for that other side, hoping that they're going to find some breeze closer to shore.
Yeah, look at that. We're on board the French right now. We're right at the back of the French boat here. Manon, so good seeing Manon back after that injury she suffered in Auckland, and just a real expert strategist. So brings that level of calm to the boat here there. You can see her pulling on her safety line, trying to get her weight as far forward as possible in the boat, help balance out the load on the foil. She now going to grab the wing sheet. She'll take the wheel as well. Bit of multitasking out of this manoeuvre. Trying to stay foiled. Feet down, taps a button, that lifts the foil that's going to be in front of Tim Lepau there at the front, and they pump it down again. Cheeky, they're only allowed a few of those. They're using that as a little extra propulsion out of the manoeuvre, and well, they've done a good job. 2 kilometers an hour faster than the Spanish, gain to the French.
I think it's really, to your point earlier, Stevie, where the decisions you make pay out minutes down the track. So Denmark took that left turn, and actually they looked quite good for a while, but that wind has wound round to the left. There's a left shift, which is just allowing the boats all on port tack just to sail up the course at the moment.
Okay, we're just getting word from race management. They will finish at the windward gate, so the race will terminate in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So the race is on again for Group A.
Yeah, Slingsby, laser Olympic gold medalist in 2012. That's a slow tactical boat. You've got to position, you've got to be patient. Well, he's given us a masterclass in that. Look at the angle they're sailing up the course. And 2 of the main protagonists in world sailing, Burling and Slingsby, are toe-to-toe. Slingsby's got to keep clear. Burling can turn him towards the wind. Bonds Flying Ruse have got to be sure to keep clear here. It's getting a big squeeze on. Slingsby's driving over the top. What an angle he's found at the top here. We call Outridge the wind whisperer. Slingsby's talking to it right now.
And the Emirates winning moment for the second time in Group A will belong to the Bonds Flying Ruse and Tom Slingsby, just ahead of the Blackfoils and Peter Burling. And 3rd place is going to go to DS Team France.
Oh, what a move on that upwind leg. Massive rotation in the breeze. Oh, Rockwell, Denmark just can't get a break at the moment. They sailed such a good race, their brilliant start. Took the left turn, it was probably their only choice, but the wind rotates. Sometimes you've got to play the cards you're dealt, and wow, they did not get a good hand in that race.
Well, they're going to try to salvage some points here. It'll be Nikolai Seheset, or it'll be the home team. Top of your screen, here comes Giles Scott, North Star Canada. Do they have the speed? Look at the differences. He's got the best angle, and I think North Star Canada is going to pick up 5th place, and they will get a point here in race number 2.
Good comeback there, but they're going to need points quickly on board North Star. What a tough race. That's a massive rotation left in the wind. It went back to much more what the wind had been before. That clouds moved past. Oh, well, I don't know if Slingsby read that like a book or if he's just got a magic sort of few cards stuck up his sleeves at the moment, but he's certainly pulling some tricks out of the hat.
He might be happier to talk to us than he was in the first race.
I think you might be right, yeah.
So unfortunately for Rockwool Denmark and Mubadala Brazil, who are in a top 3 position as they head downwind to that last gate, they take the left-hand side and they pay the price as they will end up 6th and 7th at the bottom of Group number A's finish for race 2. And we are set to go racing. So there it is, dipping down to 16.4, not quite enough. Looks like to foil Stevie. We're at 45 seconds to go for the final race.
Yeah, it's going to really take some accuracy at the start if you want to get off that line. And I think if I was going to take any lesson from season 6 here in SailGP, is that in the pre-start, be somewhere near where the US team are, because Canfield seems to be the master. But this is a rogue move here by the US team, turning back towards the fleet with 25 seconds to go. Artemis and the US team are really positioned early for the line. Red Bull Italy are coming in with speed. Bit of a sitting duck for the US team here. The Swiss, they're fast. Emirates GBR, they're fast as well. Can Outeridge accelerate the Swedish boat? Favoured positions at the top of the line, but he's a little bit early maybe. Rolex predictors on him. 7 seconds to go. I think they will be late down the line. Time to turn and burn on board Artemis at the top here. Looking for the line to turn white. They're all late, but the Swedish are going to be best off the line. It's a race to the foils here. Emirates GBR well positioned, but can Outeridge get this Swedish boat over the top of the fleet?
I'm Dave.
There they go. Oh, it's just on the foil, struggling to get those rudders, giving the lift. Boat flattens out. Here they go.
Gonna be a high mode in here.
Tight angle for Emirates GBR. That's not good news for British fans, but they are foiling. They might be able to keep their nose clear, but the Swedish should be gone at Mark 1.
What's great news to racing fans as they are up and foiling here in Halifax. Artemis approaching mark number 1. They will get the whole shot with Emirates GBR close behind and plenty of green numbers at the top of the mast.
Well, we did say it, Hannah. Get somewhere near the US team and take his lead and then execute. Can they execute this manoeuvre though?
And turning. Reasonable pressure out of this.
Well, I think it was you, Stevie, that said that Artemis hadn't been great at starting, so they definitely probably were listening to that and wanted to prove you wrong. But I think they do look silky smooth around the course, so it'll be interesting to see what they do from here.
I think the direct quote was he can't start a lawnmower right now. Nathan Outeridge proven Stevie wrong.
Well, one fine day doesn't make a summer, Todd. We'll see how he goes for the rest of the event, but he's done a brilliant job in that one, that's for sure. And they're out in front. Germany here at the back of the pack. Tight manoeuvre. They've got to now keep clear. Those boats are allowed to keep turning, and you can see the boat falls off the foils. As soon as you're in around all these boats, there's so much disturbed wind. Italy have got to be careful of the US team here. The US may be just about to lose their clear wind. The Swiss team will be on them.
Explorer Switzerland won the first race for Group B. Artemis was in second. Germany by Deutsche Bank was in third.
What's really interesting is you just see the boats, when they go up at the front and the back doesn't follow, that's the sign that they've tried to take off without quite enough speed. There's not enough lift in the rudders. The German team just enough build speed. They're going to roll over the top, but down the course, already through the DP World Gate 2, Artemis and Emirates GBR. Emirates GBR shift away first. They're attacking here. Has the Swedish team found the breeze?
No rush on the takeoff.
Get patient. It's all about being patient in this race, Todd.
If anyone needs a result here, it'll be Emirates GBR. Remember, they finished dead last in the first race. Remember, there's just 2 races today because of conditions, but it's Artemis who finished second in Group B. Steve, if they can hold on and get this win, that would be a 1-2, and they would be looking at Super Sunday and be perfect. Remember, each group will send 2 to the event final.
That's right. I mean, it's sort of, we're over halfway through the season in that race to Abu Dhabi. I feel for teams like the USA, Artemis, they're sort of pretenders to the Emirates GBR title, but they've got to start showing us that they've got the potential to get to it. So I do think it's crucial for Artemis, for United States, to make it to the final here in Halifax. As we can see right now, Emirates GBR, that's camera angle making it look like they're an awful lot quicker, but they've definitely got a nice shift in the breeze. There you go, that's because Artemis were pressing for the foil. See how the back's down? Oh, he's just judged it.
Just going to match the attack, okay?
Yeah, there you go. He decided to be patient. If you do go to foil, you can end up sailing a lot of extra distance. If the other boat's not foiling, be patient, stay with them, match them.
See the wind strength down to 14 kilometers an hour there, so just getting a little bit softer. And you do have to invest a lot of distance to get that speed to get up and foiling, don't you? So sometimes it's not quite worth it.
I think if you think the other boat's not going to get on the foils either, sometimes the right thing to do is be patient and just keep it simple. If you're not certain, then play the percentages. And I think Nathan there was a bit of maturity. He was trying to push the kid in him, desperately wanting to get foiling, and then he told himself, no, calm down, let's slow it up. put the block on onto Dylan Fletcher. Tricky call at the next gate, Tom.
They have sailed into some light breeze right now as they approach this gate. As Artemis drops down to 16 kilometers an hour, Nathan, Chris Draper looking around, trying to find the pressure out on the water. There you see the blue lines coming. That's the wind direction and the strength, and not a whole lot right there.
Because it's middle mark finish, right?
You can see here, they've got the one hull up in the air on board Artemis. Draper's really got that wing pinned in. He's trying to make the boat heel over. He'll be right on the edge of stalling that wing at the moment. You can see it's rotated at the back of that main wing sail. Big call to make here. They've got to do a right or a left turn. And then they're going to go down to a downwind mark and then one more turn to the finish. Just 2 legs left. We're over halfway through. Emirates GBR are in no wind. They're probably going to have to split. They do. Here we go. They roll away. Artemis will turn right. Emirates GBR left. Where's the more wind? Lisa Darmanin, can you see where there's more breeze on the course right now?
Pressure when we get
it's hard to read with this glare and the cloud, but I actually do think where Emirates Great Britain are going is better. Generally, the boats have been able to kind of get a little bit of surge of pressure that way, but you know, Artemis is sailing really well here, and as you said, Nathan Atteridge does know a thing or two about finding the wind, but yeah, it's really, really tough out here.
Over 30 on board Artemis, 32 they're foiling. Emirates GBR right-hand side of screen, they're foiling as well. Only one more manoeuvre for Artemis, 2 more for Emirates GBR. That could be absolutely crucial because it's not easy to stay foiling here. Here go Emirates GBR, they've got one to do. Middle of our screen, that's where Artemis are going. They've got to watch out for the US team.
Down to one more leg. This is leg 4 of 5, the final fleet race of the day, as we are in a split fleet racing format. Just take away a little bit of the congestion with all 13 boards on a very, very tight course.
Yeah, and you can see right-hand side of screen, Emirates GBR fell off the foils in that manoeuvre. So Artemis, bottom left of our screen, he's off the foils, but tactically total control. And what will be interesting is the Swiss team have taken a right turn at the top of the course, and they're potentially going to challenge Emirates GBR, but I think Emirates GBR were quite well stretched out in second. Could be crucial points for Dylan Fletcher and his team.
Maybe you come down, Julia.
Just tough sledding for the US SailGP team. They finished in 5th place in the first race. It looks like they are on their way to a last place finish unless they can overtake the Germans and the Italians. And right now it is still Artemis out in front, but look at Emirates GBR and the speed.
Yeah, they've got another manoeuvre to do though, Todd. I don't anticipate, well, they're fast. They're over 50. They should be able to stay foiling here. So they could potentially go round the outside here if he plays it. Might have to sail a lot of extra distance, but if they stick this manoeuvre, crucial manoeuvre here for the British team. Look how wide he's going. That's because he wants to be fast when he meets Artemis in a minute. He's got to try and stay foiling. He's foiling. He's nailed it. Swiss team are fast, but they won't make the mark. Big opportunity for Emirates GBR here. He's coming in nearly twice the speed, 40 kilometres an hour. He's got to sail through the disturbed wind of Artemis. But can he make it?
Here we go. The drag race is on. It'll either be Artemis or Emirates GBR, the defending champions from Season 5, as they come to the line. Just a few more meters to go. Will it be Artemis or will it be Emirates GBR? And the wind whisperer, Nathan Atteridge, is going to hold on for the win. Artemis claims the win just ahead of the British.
Oh, Todd, I thought you called that a bit early then. That was double speed. Great call by Todd Harris there coming into the line. Brave man calling that early. 1 second in it. Emirates GBR, brilliant from Fletcher. Set it up, super aggressive attack. We can see the Swiss now in 3rd place. Germany, Deutsche Bank, well, they're nicely set up tactically here. They should take another 4th, so more points for the German team. But yeah, what a race by those first 2. And yeah, US SailGP team, well, for me, they were very unlucky in the first race. Didn't get what they deserved. Didn't have a great start here. The story of their season, though, is that they don't overtake a lot of boats. So the story of Artemis this season is they've not started well, but they overtake a load of boats. So if you give them a good start, they're gone. Right. The US team are brilliant starting. When they get out in front, they do a good job. But when they're a bit back, they struggle to move through the fleet.
How about Explore Switzerland here in Halifax? They win the first race. They back it up with a 3rd place. So they're going to be a good spot heading into Super Sunday. Germany, Deutsche Bank, they finished 3rd. They'll back it up with a 4th in their 2nd race. And Red Bull Italy will come in 5th.
Yeah, I mean, the Swiss are right in, aren't they? A 1 and a 3, 1 and a 2 for Artemis. So I think, you know, Emirates GBR are going to go in tonight. Maybe I can end up sounding disrespectful. They're the champions, right? They've made an awful lot of finals. They would expect in this group to be making that 4-boat final. They'd expect to be in the top 2 in this group. They're not right now. And I think they're going to have a little bit of work to do overnight to work out how they make things happen.
Look at the speed the Americans have found on the last leg as they come across at 43 kilometers an hour. They run out of real estate here in Halifax, and they will finish in 6th place to go with a 5th place finish in race number 1. So a little bit of reconfiguring for them as they get ready for Super Sunday. Remember, there'll be 2 more races, and then we'll have the event final with 4 teams in the event final battling for the title here in Canada.
So the crucial thing for me is that when you come into any maneuvers, don't get too slow. If you're slow, Hannah, the boat's going to just load up and you put a lot of risk on yourself.
And there are your standings right now. Remember, it's only the top 2 teams on points that will move into the event final, Hannah. Australia looks good. The Black Foils look good. Spain on the outside looking in, as is DS Team France.
Yeah, that's right. And I think if you're Spain and France, you've really got to be gunning to win this race. Lining up quite near the back of the box, and I think it's going to be working out that time and distance to make sure you're going as fast as you can at start time.
So here we go. It's the calm before the chaos. Under 30 seconds to go for the start of Group A. As they get lined up, Stevie, it looks like they're coming back awfully early.
Well, Australia and Denmark, to me, look like they've pushed each other close to the line. We can see out the back, Los Gallos, Black Foils. They're the 2 in a real match race to get to that final at the moment. Well, they're charging in so fast. DS Automobile France will have a gap at the bottom of the line. They've got to make sure there's a bit of an incident potentially coming. Spain, that's too aggressive, surely. Perfect timing by Los Gallos, but I would not be surprised if we hear more about that. Brilliant reactions from De La Pierre to open the gap. The Spanish, well, they needed to be brave, and at the top of the line, the Black Foils, they need to be brave. They were. Remember, top speed round this mark for these boats. We've got to be careful when they get up to 75, but do not expect anyone to take their foot off the pedal as we turn away at Mark 1.
So it's Diego Botín and Los Gallos, Spain, that roll the dice, and it comes up Yahtzee at the line as they hit mark number 1, and the Spanish will have the whole shot just ahead of the Black Foils of New Zealand.
Just to let you know, Todd, I've just spoken to Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell. That was perfectly judged, apparently. That was absolutely spot-on judgment. They threaded the needle, and I have to say, that was surgical precision.
4, 2, 1, turning.
A bit of an issue dropping the board. Big splash in the water. See that white splash? That just suggests the foil hit down a bit hard on the drop, but they've recovered, smoothed the boat out nicely. Black Foils follow. And the Bonds Flying Rouge have split away first. They're going to be looking for a split at the bottom of the course, I'd imagine. Slowly work their way up through the fleet.
Home team Canada, they also make the move. Looks like they're going to off that right-hand side. Here comes Mubadala, Brazil, awfully close to Canada.
Yeah, they've got to keep clear. They were late reacting. Slightly new crew lineup. They got a bit slow, late dropping the board. Didn't match the North Star Canada team. North Star are back in. New Zealand, they're off the foils. Got a bit slow on the bottom mark rounding. And North Star have perfectly executed that. Bonds Flying Rouge, they get that manoeuvre round as well. A lot of places lost by the Black Foils here as they're going to come out of the boundary. And it's Rockwool, Denmark that split the course. They need some luck here to get themselves back in the race.
I think this is one of those scenarios where actually splitting from the group could be a bit of an advantage, even if it is the wrong way. It can be super light in that top corner out by the wharfs there with all the spectators. So it'll be all on to see who comes out of that corner well.
And look at the speed across the course right now, 23.8 kilometers an hour is the wind speed. Lisa Darman, and you're down on the water. What's it looking like? Where's the favorable side?
I think it looks to me like there's still been a little gain to those boats that did turn into the fans on the shore there right now. Los Gallos have stretched. Black Foils just didn't execute a good bottom mark rounding there. They got themselves a little bit sort of high and wobbly on the exit, and that's just cost them now. They're in a really tricky position. Normally you might think to move away here, but they've got to wait till they get to a point where they can make gate 3 and 2 more manoeuvres. They've got to be patient to try and give themselves an opportunity later on. We're going to come back to the start. We're on board the Spanish boat. On the front of the Spanish boat, we're not going to really see exactly where the French are here. We might see someone come into view, but wow, Diego Botín, he had a surgical gown on for this one. He's a braver man than me coming in here. Toward legs up, brace, brace, brace. Look at the he just nips through. Goodness only knows what it looked like on board that, but look at that. I mean, going nearly 40 kilometres an hour faster. Here we go, on board the French. This will be an interesting view. So, right-hand side of the screen is where the Spanish are going to come from.
Look at this.
They've got to keep clear. They've got to be sure they're ahead. Oh, I mean, there must have been... Well, there was clear. The umpires called it clear, but... Yeah, fair play. That's braver than I would be.
Back to live racing here on leg 3 of 7. This is Group A in split fleet racing here at SailGP as we get ready for an event final with 4 boats instead of the normal 3. It is a split course situation right now as the home team, North Star Canada, they'll opt for the other side. The Bonds Flying Rouge, they will follow Los Gallos, Spain. But I'll tell you what, Canada, they could send their fans home happy, Stevie, if they can find a way to win this race.
Yeah, I think, you know, Canada, yes, they desperately need to hang on to second here and then hope they get another race to, you know, get going. But the breeze looks great, so they should have that opportunity. And then for New Zealand and Spain, this will mean New Zealand, the Black Foils, are behind Los Gallos. This will put Los Gallos into the top 2 in this group. And again, let's have a little reminder. You've only got to be in the top 2 in your group. That's when you get to meet the other team. So it's a race within a race right now. Bonds Flying Rouge, masterclass, but they're not going to struggle. They're going to struggle to catch the Spanish from here.
Leg 4 of 7 here for Group number A, so they're more than halfway home. Let's check in down on the water once again. Lisa Darmanin, is there a more favorable side of the course? What are you seeing?
Clear here.
Yeah, obviously everybody's favouring this turn, what the Spanish are about to do, getting into that grandstand. I think the pressure is sort of funneling down this side. There's also a nice little shear, so you get to sail less distance. And throughout the day, we are expecting the wind to rotate that way. So seems to be paying at the moment, that's for sure. But these boats look like a handful.
No question about it. Thanks, LD, as they make that turn. It's first Los Gallos, Spain, then North Star Canada. The Bonds Flying Rouge, who won both races yesterday, they're well positioned as well, and they are sailing with all kinds of confidence. Hannah Diamond, and that's a dangerous thing for the rest of the fleet.
They're really hot on the heels of the Canadians now, just working up. That's exactly what they did at the last mark rounding as well. Just put some pressure on and did a better execution at that mark rounding to take place.
You see, it just comes down sometimes to how you do what we'd call the basics really, really well. And they just kept the boat a little bit lower in the water, a little bit more sideways grip on the boat. Flight control there, Jason Waterhouse, will have been working really hard on the foil angles, keeping the balance in the boat, and then you make a couple of meters gain, you get yourself pressurizing the boat up front. But North Star right now, they've done a nice recovery, got themselves right in front of the home fans. Expect there'll be a bit of extra motivation to go faster. We're back on board here. See Annie, she comes down, she's having a look. That's because the wind's coming over the left-hand side of the boat. They're on what we'd call port tack. They do not have the right of way. Got to be checked here clear.
It's like Mubadala Brazil is done in this race as their shore crew has come aboard to help them out. Paul Goodison has taken over the driving duties, and Martina Grail sitting in the strategist position. We'll try to get some information on what happened there. Meanwhile, the racing goes on with Los Gallos, the champions of Season 4, out in front. Here comes North Star Canada putting the pressure on the Bonds Flying Rouge, who are probably safely into the 4-boat final. And then you have the Black Foils of New Zealand. Pete Burling back on the line. Stevie looking very fast in their return.
Yeah, they're right in it on there. And they'll be tight with Bonds Flying Rouge when we get to the top of the course here. The Black Foils are going quick. North Star have got to be careful. They've got to keep clear of the Bonds Flying Rouge. So this is a big moment here for North Star. Can they cross? Time to be brave. Giles Scott is brave.
Yep.
But yeah, Black Foils are right back in this. I suspect, yeah, it sounded like you heard Blair Took say we could go for a left turn lay. So he's saying let's try and set ourselves up to turn left at the top. I suspect he's anticipating most of the other boats will turn right. If you can get going a different way, Hannah, that's how you hope to make an overtake. It's unlikely you're just going to sail past them with just speed alone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And you do need a few things to go your way, but I think especially knowing that they're going down to the middle of the course and then to the finish, you've got a few less options, but splitting from the fleet can be an option for you.
See here, North Star, they set up, they're going to spin in front of the Australians. Bonds Flying Rouge have got no space in there. Oh, Slingsby, what a cat-like reactions. Oh, that was a really good reaction. Yes, we are going to see a split here, so there's an opportunity for the Black Foils. Slingsby, that was pretty wise hands there.
Going on with Denmark here.
Around these guys.
Stand by here.
See, it gets a bit tight. So they've got to, even on a different leg, they've still got to watch out for Rotwell because Rotwell had the right of way. North Star, well, that was aggressive, but a beautifully executed manoeuvre. And Los Gallos, well, it's been a pretty perfect race.
Well, the story of this race so far for Group A was the start put on by Los Gallos, Spain, as they thread the needle between France and the Bonds Flying Rouge, and now they are down to the penultimate leg as they are on leg 6 of 7. There'll be a right-hand turn, and then it's off to glory land as Los Gallos, the Spanish, looking very good as they approach the finish, and we've got some congestion coming up in this last gate.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight. We see the Los Gallos coming in.
And the Emirates winning moment in race number 1 on Super Sunday for Group A goes the way of the Spanish and Los Gallos.
Oh, so tight at the bottom there. Bons Flying Rouge just ahead of the Black Foils. Oh, the Black Foils were trying to dive inside. They will have asked the question whether they had space. It didn't seem like they quite did. And North Star Canada will listen to the home crowd.
So the Canadians bring it home with a solid second place finish. The Bons Flying Rouge will hold on for third, and the Black Foils of New Zealand will grab fourth. That leaves France and Denmark still on the course. It looks like DS Team France will hold on for fifth. So for Group B, it now becomes 5 boats trying to qualify top 2 into the final, Stevie. Gives them a little bit more elbow room, but right now for Group B, it has been Switzerland and it has been Artemis, the class of the field.
That's right, a lot more space on the racetrack here, and it's all about making sure you're in those top 2 boats. Artemis, right-hand side of screen, giving themselves some space. They don't want to be too conservative here. They've got to make sure they can battle hard if they want to make it. USA, well positioned. All about managing the speed on the first leg. We can see the wind lines coming down. The blue colours, less wind. As the colour gets redder, it's a bit more wind on the track, so more wind up towards the top end of the start line. Rolex pole predictors on the USA. Artemis dive. They get up to speed at the bottom end of the line. He's looking for the shortest distance. Perfectly positioned is outerage. Who's going to get the acceleration right? They wind it up and look for that line to go white. Racing here, Artemis, perfect on the gun. Outeridge has got his starting boost on today. He comes out blazing towards Mark 1. Canfield will follow. Who's going to manage to catch this Swedish team?
Looking for right turn at the bottom. At the mark, right?
So as they approach mark number 1 for Group B, their third fleet race here in Halifax, and it is Nathan Outeridge and Artemis out in front. Red Bull Italy directly behind them, and in between is the US SailGP team with Taylor Canfield.
Watch the top of the wings, Todd. 75s. Oh, they're top end for these
79.
rudders. It's top end for those rudders. It's like driving your Formula 1 car into a corner at Monaco and just keeping the throttle down as hard as you can. Brave work from Outeridge, but they flew the boat a bit lower. That helps give a little bit more load structurally to the rudder, and they're lined up nicely for the bottom of the course. Gate 2 coming quick.
What a difference between yesterday. The wind is up, Hannah, and they are off and flying. This is Group B. Remember, the top 2, since we're in split fleet racing, will qualify, and we'll have the first ever 4-boat final here in SailGP.
Yeah, much stronger winds than perhaps even we were expecting for today. We are expecting this to decrease a little bit, but up at 26 kilometres an hour at the moment.
Well, USA have got a little heeled out of that. Good save there. Mike Menninger just managing to ease enough wing. US need a big result here. Sweden is moving away from the fleet. Tight at the bottom. Right of way here with the Swedish.
Oh, very close.
Oh, the Swiss there had to move away from the Germans and the Italians. To me, that was too little too late by Phil Robertson. That could have consequences later on. The Swiss look to turn left at the bottom. All the boats are really overpowered on these rounds up. That was really too close. The umpire thought about telling us something there, I think.
It's going to be Italy.
Penalty, it had to be. They just didn't move, didn't give Germany the opportunity to move, so they're going to have to drop back behind the Swiss, I would imagine, is where that penalty will go. Right now, Outeridge has sailed the plan he wanted. He's in towards the fans on the shore. When they come back together with the US team, it'll be right of way to the USA, but this is going to be tricky manoeuvring in this heavier breeze with the big wings. Lots of drag to manoeuvre through the air.
Phil Robertson, Red Bull Italy, they take their penalty, they drop back. They were sitting in second place. They'll drop back to 5th place. It is Nathan Outeridge and Artemis out in front. Taylor Canfield, US SailGP, Dean Curley sitting in second place. They had a terrible day yesterday, finishing with a 5th and a 6th respectively.
Looks like a nice shift in the wind there, Hannah. Artemis is sailing nicely up those ladder lines.
Yeah, it didn't look so great for them out of that first manoeuvre, did it, on that left-hand boundary, but now they've wound up really nicely. I think the manoeuvres are really costly, like you say, with the big gear on for the light winds. You've got to drag all of that round the corners, so manoeuvres are definitely costly today.
Swiss team are sort of well positioned, second in the group overnight. Few points advantage over the US. So you've got to think about that race to the final. You're hoping to be in the top 2 in your group. The other groups are irrelevant to you at this stage. You're just racing the people in your group. So USA and Switzerland, top left corner of our screen, that's really the battle to the final right now. Because Artemis, well, it's a little bit of a masterclass from Outeridge, Draper and co on board that boat.
Holding up from here, Nate, you'll heal. It's just tacked behind the jib. Holding up.
Across there, just keeping the comms up with the US. The US have found a nice wind shift at the top. They're coming back. Right of way with the Swedish team.
Yeah, in the zone now, we should see.
Oh, Nathan Outridge just turns right in front of the Americans, so Taylor Canfield has to respect that maneuver, and Outridge will bring it through here in gate number 3. The Americans sit behind. There you see the Germans. They'll thread the needle between the Swiss.
So you have to do another maneuver. They can't quite make the top. They slam straight in front of the Swiss as well. They won't be looking to do extra moves at the top. Italy coming in middle of our screen. They've got the right of way on the Swiss, but I think they might look to split away here. It looks like extra distance to the left turn, and off in the lead. Artemis move away from the fleet 5 seconds, but the whole fleet follows you, Hannah. It just makes you feel so much more comfortable tactically, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more comfortable. And I think if we look strategically, there's not a lot of colour change in any of these arrows coming down the course. So it's going to be all about how you position yourself on the course for some of the shifts. Looks like Italy's gained quite a bit there, but they're going to have to manoeuvre away from that boundary. And I think we'll see them come back behind the Swiss.
So as it stands right now, it would be Artemis out in front and Switzerland in second place. They'd get the top 2 spots if it was to the final right after this race. And right now, Nathan Outridge doing a great job, but great angle by Taylor Canfield, the Americans.
Yeah, a little bit of a gain there. I think tactically, you know, Nathan's done a nice job positioning him quite safely. Often you're happy to give a couple of meters away to give them no real opportunity to overtake. So total control for Artemis right now, and you can see they're able to just speed it up into the bottom. Artemis will be quicker after this mark. You see here, it's going to be wide in, tight out, classic racing turn. It'll be hard for the US team to stay above the line of Artemis out of the mark. He's having to hammer the turn, but look, he's already slower.
So at gate 4, the DP World Gate, the battle is on. Artemis looks to be safely into the final. The battle really between the Americans, the Germans, and the Swiss to see who's going to get that second position as Taylor Canfield continues to keep the pressure on Artemis, and they split away with Sebastian Schneider and explore Swiss opting for the other side.
Building speed here? Yeah. And stand by.
On board the US boat. Let's see, they've got to execute everything perfectly.
Go forward. Not much grip. And turning.
Oh, you just see them put the front of the boat in the water there. They just aggressive turn, weren't quite high enough foiling into that maneuver, but they've done a nice recovery. Hans Henken, silky hands on that flight controlling coffee grinder. They're moving up the course, and they're still ahead of the Swiss as it sits at the moment. Crucial points for the US SailGP team, as you can see, coming back into good wind. Artemis, boat nice and high out of the water. Platform lent on top of them. Look at this fly time percentage. They're right in the sweet spot, about 90 centimetres up. If you can get up to 100, 1 metre above the water, well, it's perfect, but you're on the limit. You're on the edge of a collapse.
Hannah, Stevie talks about these boats maybe being a little overpowered for the gear they have. I guess to put it in an analogy, would this be like a Formula One car putting on like rain slicks? It's just not quite the gear they need for the conditions they're sailing in?
You want to do 2
well, I think
right here.
It's really marginal, that cool, and we're inside some of the lighter patches. This is absolutely the perfect combination, but it's all about how you manage this gear. Everyone is on the same movement, so it's all about how do you manage the amount of power that you've got when it's upwind, the wind is a little bit stronger, and then how do you manage it when it goes downrange as well.
And Stevie, the question I think people at home may be asking is, well, why don't they just swap it out? Well, on these boats, it takes a little more time than just a quick pit stop.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got, you know, 13 boats that they've had to put together today. Of course, really desperately bad news for Emirates GBR, but yeah, it's not a 2-minute job. You've got to make this call sort of 24 hours ahead, and you make it with the best information. Very adaptive. I mean, as Hannah said, the key with this, it's the same for everyone. So you can complain about it not being perfect all you like. It's all about how you as an athlete adapt to the equipment you've got. And you see the Swiss there, wow, that's an aggressive turn. Managed to keep clean, but if they can make it to this gate, they will cut the corner on the Germans. I think they're going to be slow though, coming in. Schneider's going to try and make it. He will be slow. Germany going to try and move over the top as Artemis well. One more maneuver and they're going to be comfortably into the bottom of the course.
Gate number 5, and here comes the US SailGP team, keeping the pressure on. It is between them, the Swiss, and the Germans to see who's going to get that second position out of Group B into the final. Emirates GBR damaged their boat earlier today. They're out of it, so it's 5 boats fighting for 2 positions.
Yeah, and the Swiss team, they were slow in, and so it's hard to then exit the mark and close down on a narrow line on the inside. They've ended up wide. Germany have just slingshot round the inside. Eric Heil, absolute masterclass there on how you stay patient and wait for your opportunity to overtake. Tight at the bottom of our screen. They're so close. Germany and Switzerland, it's like, I don't know, it's like synchronized sailing going on there. Perfectly executed, really clean racing. But the Artemis team are going to get it done, Todd.
3 races and 2 victories go the way of Nathan Outridge. The win in race number 3 on Super Sunday in Group B belongs to Artemis. Second place will go to Taylor Canfield and the US Sail GP team. Did they do enough to get themselves into position? Stevie, I think the question is, the Swiss still are in a good position, not giving up too much. The Germans look like they will finish in third.
Well, yeah, we're still obviously hoping for another race for Group B out here. We'll wait and see what Mother Nature offers us. But yes, Canfield's done well. He's not done everything he can, as Germany, Deutsche Bank bring it in third, and Explorer Swiss, well, they get a fourth. So they have stayed ahead of Red Bull Italy. Valuable point that could turn out to be. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. The US team will be looking for another good race, though, if they're going to make the final here.
So coming up on 40 seconds to go before the start of the last race out on the water, and there is the race to the finish. Australians have been so rock solid, Stevie. They're in the position right now with Los Gallos, Spain, the top two. New Zealand just on the outside looking in. So your battle really is between Spain, New Zealand. Canada's probably too far away to get there, but those are the three boats, Australia, Spain, and New Zealand.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's between those three boats. The Australians need an average one. They've got to be fourth or better to be sure to be in the final, and they've got space up the line and a Rolex pole predictor on the top of them. Big bunch group at the bottom, favoured position middle of the line, but I love where the Bonds Flying Roos are right now. I don't see a gap for the Black Foils, and wait for Slingsby to wind it up here. He turns to the line. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby?
This is the umpires.
It should be over
Early start penalty, Canada.
Oh, and it's good news for the Black Foils. Bad news for Spain, and well, absolute perfection from Slingsby. Wound it up and struck it out the park with that start when he needed it most. Can the Black Foils roll over the top of DS Automobile France? They need to be at least one boat between them and the Spanish if they want to get into the final. That's where we've got to be focused for the rest of this race. Spain have got work to do.
Right down.
Hey, that's right turn.
So at mark number one, it's the Bonds Flying Roos as the rich keep getting richer. The Black Foils back in the game, sit in second place. Third place right now looks like belongs to DS Team France.
Yeah, you see that dark patch of water? That's, I think, the breeze that Lisa's been talking about near the shore. Really big gust of wind close into the fans. I don't think that's just the cheering fans managing to energise the breeze out there. Slingsby now, he just got to be smooth from here.
Your Rolex sprint leaders, the Bonds Flying Roos, they are in form, no question about it. Winners of the last three events. They've won 4 of the 6 events so far this season.
Spain have done a nice move by spinning away early here. They now have the right of way as they come back towards the fleet. Expect most boats to try and turn right at gate 2. That's what we've seen all day. Spain are looking for some mistakes from other boats. They've overtaken one. They look like they're past Rockwall. But they've got to overtake another boat. They've got to be right behind the Spanish. At the moment, they're making it happen. The Spanish are. They've got to potentially give room to the French at the bottom. Rockwall and North Star Canada are going to... Oh, no, Rockwall choose to follow. Patient work there. Black Foils go round, but the Black Foils have got to keep the French close and not let the Spanish get right behind them if they want to make the final.
And Giles Scott and North Star Canada, the only boat to opt for the other side. They avoid that big pileup on there, but will they pay the price for less breeze? We can also tell you that Brazil, Mubanda Brazil, unable to go in this race, so their day is done. So you've got 6 boats basically fighting for 2 spots. And the Bonds Flying Roos have got to have already secured 1 spot, Stevie. There you see the race to the final, 5 points clear of the Black Foils. So the Black Foils and Los Gallos really battling out for the last position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Bonds Flying Roos are pretty much down the road right now. I'm sure Hannah will keep us honest on the points as things go on. But what was interesting was the Spanish did a better manoeuvre out of gate 2. They will have made a gain from that manoeuvre. The Australians, there you go. So it's an arm wrestle here between the Spanish and New Zealand. If it stays with just 4th and 5th, that's enough for Los Gallos. The Spanish have to sort of stay directly behind New Zealand and they'll make the final. North Star have the right of way here. Tricky decision for the Spanish to make right now. This is going to get very awkward for them very quick unless they can sneak across in front.
Right, stay here, Siege.
Yeah, you got it.
So Black Foils, expect, as we move up towards the boundary, expect the Black Foils to move exactly when Los Gallos move to try and slow down the Spanish boat here.
Another tight crossing there, Hannah.
They've done really well there, the Black Foils, as 2 boats having to dip behind North Star Canada, who did really well actually from that left turn at the bottom, but Black Foils been sailing really nicely to hold that tight lane on the Spanish all the way across here.
France have made a bit of a gain. France look good, so there's definitely good wind out that side. Black Foils manoeuvre, Rockwall back in it. The New Zealand team have got to make something happen here. They dropped back a lot of places. Oh, they got it on the foil though, and the French are slow, trying to build. Could be a chance to gain. It's going to be really awkward up the course. Tactically very difficult for the black foils as we come up to the top here. Where are Los Gallos?
Look at Liv Mackay getting a better bird's eye view there. She comes up and checks the left side of the boat.
Yeah, and you see left-hand side of the screen there, Spain. They've managed to keep themselves in a bit of space. They're just on the edge of our camera. That little bit of lateral separation, Spain are a bit closer to the bottom of the screen than New Zealand. That means that when New Zealand manoeuvre, they're going to have a problem with Spain. Spain will have the right of way when the black foils manoeuvre, so Burling needs to be sure of getting across in head, and I think the Spanish have just sailed a little quicker across here. Here goes Burling, he's got to be sure to be ahead. It's tight, tight, tight. Oh, I tell you what, Diego Botín will be asking Craig Mitchell.
He's going to sell it.
Wait here, see if we can hear anything. Rockwell are on the foils, but they've not got right of way in there on black foils. They have on the Spanish.
There we go.
Left here. Not too hard.
This is why they are the best in the world, Hannah, to be able to put your boat in that tight a quarter.
This is just what you don't want. If you've got a tight battle between two boats to try and make that final, you don't want someone who's not in contention of taking your spot in the final, getting mixed up in your own little battle.
And that decision is under review.
All the way good for me.
Green flag! Green flag! Burling by millimetres has snuck across the front of Los Gallos. Oh, water cool! That could be it in the race to the final.
Even on points right now with Los Gallos, but if they win or finish ahead of Los Gallos in this race, they will get that second position into the final.
Well, the crucial boat now, Todd, is Rockwell. If Spain can overtake Rockwell, Spain will beat the black foils. As it sits at the moment, they're equal on points, but in SailGP, we always know that whoever does better in the last race gets to the final, and the fans are frothing.
Kiwi fans are on their feet, and we've got a good one. It's between New Zealand and Spain. Who will get the last position as Australia sails away?
Oh, and it looks to me like the black foils have gone a bit wide. They've sailed a bit of extra distance. Difficult management here, the black foils. Look, they're struggling to get forward on Rockwell, Denmark. A mistake by the black foils down here. Bit of extra distance potentially sailed. Or they're trying to force Rockwell up. No, he's just trying to force Rockwell up, but he's potentially making life very difficult for himself here.
Right now, Nikolai Sehested, the driver for Rockwell, Denmark, is Diego Boutín's best friend as they make the maneuver. There you see the Bonsline Rouge, the right-hand side of your screen. They're into the final. Here comes North Star Canada, the home team with Giles Scott, Olympic gold medalist. And now you've got Pete Burling, Diego Boutín, and Nikolai Sehested all headed for the same direction.
Sehested, will he manoeuvre away? It's been favouring the right turn on average. They're all going straight. If they go straight, the Spanish are... Oh, no, there go Rockwell. Crucial manoeuvre here. They split the course. Black foils are still ahead of the Spanish, but Spain will be ahead of Rockwell at this gate. It's all about where the best wind is upwind. Lisa, what are you seeing?
Right here, do you want to get onto the left early?
Yeah, the day is changing dramatically. The wind's dropped off a lot and the course has moved, so the course geometry is a little bit different, which is why we saw those left turns. Australia and Canada, they're not foiling. Rockwell's managed to stay on the foils as they head towards the grandstand and pick up the breeze on the left-hand side first. So, yeah, it's changing out here and it's getting tougher and tougher.
All right, you see the wind across the board, as Lisa referred to. It's 17 kilometers an hour. That's across the course right now, as it's hovering right between 17 and 18. So, Hannah, what do you do with just 2 legs left if you're Spain, if you're New Zealand?
There's actually quite a lot of racing left, and exactly like Lisa said, it feels as though the day's changed quite a bit since the earlier races. We're just starting to see boats sailing with one hull in the water. If I'm Spain, I'm going to stay right on the heels of New Zealand. That's all you can do. Interestingly, we've got Rockwell, Denmark. They've just done a foiling manoeuvre at the top of the screen there. Not sailing a great angle, but it's definitely a different day to what it was earlier.
And you see the green on top. That means they can be up and foiling over 30 kilometers an hour. There's New Zealand. They hit the mark. With this configuration, Stevie, is it around 30 or is it need to be more?
Yeah, it's around 30 again, but you see the black foils are foiling. Rockwell's foiling, Los Gallos are about to foil, and it looks like it's been a gain to the side of the course where black foils and Los Gallos went, so it's not good news for the black foils fans at the moment because they do need that Danish boat between them. Such a tricky thing to manage right now. I think on board the black foils, all you can do is sail yourself as fast as possible and see if you can stop the Spanish somewhere near the finish line. Absolute tactical masterclass happening here from Burling in terms of controlling the Spanish boat, but he's got to try and manipulate the situation to let Rockwell fill the gap. Rockwell coming towards more wind. Could be good news for the Danish.
And 4.
Does look like Diego's doing exactly what you said, Hannah, and just sort of being super patient and in some ways hoping. But again, you've got to keep just doing the right thing when you're in the boat that position. Don't do something crazy. Don't panic. Keep doing the right thing, and then let's see what we get. 200 metres to the top end of this course, and there's another decision for the teams to make. Do you turn right? Do you turn left?
I think the Spanish will know that if they just stay, they know they're kind of fast. If they can stop any boats getting in between them, then the chance of the Black Foils being able to convert that into a position that will put them into the final is really difficult. So they're doing, for me, exactly the right thing. Easier said than done, though, to sit on the tail of a boat that is sailed very well.
What a story that would be if Pete Burling, after almost 4 months off, gets the boat back on the water and gets himself into an event final right away. He's in a battle right now with Los Gallos and the Spanish. So can they do enough? And hoping that someone can get in between. I think it's tough, Pete. I mean, Stevie, if you're hoping for Peter Burling to make a mistake, good luck. If you're hoping for Diego Bertini to make a mistake, good luck.
No, absolutely. And I think, to be perfectly honest, I think you can't expect for that. They managed to get a split from North Star Canada. So there's a chance that the Black Foils can gain on the Canadians, but with home crowd fever pitched on the shore, it seems unlikely they're going to make a mistake as well. So I think, yeah, maybe a bit too little for the Black Foils.
This is the shot as they make their way towards the grandstand. Once again, the fans in Halifax will welcome home the green and gold, the winners of the race, the Bonds Flying Roos.
And look at this, Black Foils, this is because he's trying to slow up and get in a match race with the Spanish. He's trying to give the Spanish a really difficult position.
Second place belongs to the home team. Take a bow, North Star Canada.
Yeah, Burling's trying to set it up. He's got to try and slow up the Spanish boat and let the Rockwool team catch him and then dive across the finish line just before the Danes.
Here we go.
Absolute carnage here, potentially. The Spanish, here we go. So now Rockwool shoot to the line. Black Foils turn to the line. The Black Foils have done enough potentially to open the door for Rockwool. It's going to be all about the finish line here. Black Foils have got to get across in third, and then it'll be who can get there first.
Too close to call. Did he get it?
Burling, that was some action. I think Diego made it. I think Spain have got across the finish line there. They did get across in fourth. They beat Rockwool by about half a metre.
Oh, mercy.
Wow. 3 boats on the line there, magic. Oh, what a moment. I mean, fair play. And yeah, the Spanish were just patient. Let's not make a mistake.
Big dip earlier before the racing started. They damaged their wings, so they are out. So now we've got 5 boats fighting for 2 spots in the finals. We take a look at the Group B leaderboard. It is Artemis out in front. Switzerland sits in second place. But Stevie, you're saying there's a chance for Germany and the US SailGP team.
And unfortunately, I'm only saying there's a chance for the German team. Unfortunately, the Swiss team will get a point in this race as long as they finish. So they only have to finish 5th to definitely be ahead of the US. So it's really a race between Switzerland and Germany, Deutsche Bank, to get to the final. So it'll be interesting whether they start to play with each other. Artemis will be looking to keep that momentum. Phil Robertson needs a good one. So everyone's got a lot to fight for here. There's still season points on the overall up for grabs as we line up to the start. 16 seconds to go. Switzerland have got a lovely bit of space at the top of the line. They've also just got a Rolex pole predictor on the top of their wing. They're lined up beautifully. Massive gap. They've got to drop the hammer. We're looking for the line to turn white, and it's all about the acceleration as Canfield comes in hot.
What's the shift at Mark 1?
Perfect for the US team across the start line. It's a faster angle for the Swiss, and the Germans are out the back. Eric Heil's got a lot of work to do if he's got any hope of making a final here in Halifax.
I think the Swiss will roll.
Canfield says he thinks the Swiss on the faster angle should roll round them. Seb Schneider, when he absolutely needed it, he's got to roll over the top, start to put some disturbed wind and slow down that US boat. Millimetres in it.
And at Mark 1 in race number 4 in Group B, it is Explorer Swiss that gets the whole shot just ahead of the US SailGP team. They are your Rolex sprint leaders, the Swiss, taking control of this race.
Happy margin for me.
Yeah, beautiful work there. They've just driven down across the front. They're going to have a faster, lower angle. You see Rebel Italy first to manoeuvre away. Last time they all wanted to turn right at the bottom, so don't expect the Swiss to go too wide. Just try and set themselves up towards that side of the course. US follow. Good news for the Swiss.
Okay, margin. They're in gas here. Yeah, coming up slowly here. Here's.
Underestimate how hard it is to sail these boats with just 5 people. With these 27.5 metre wings, there's a maximum crew number of 5 on board, so plenty on for all of the sailors.
Italians with the right of way here, coming back at the other boats. It looks like they've gone a little bit early if they want to turn right at the bottom. Italy could well be slow when we get to gate 2 at the bottom here, which is going to add a little bit of added spice. Oh, Canfield and Robertson, that's the gift that keeps giving, isn't it, as they come in at the bottom here. USA manoeuvres straight in front of Phil Robertson, and Seb Schneider's going to lead at gate 2, Todd.
So here we go, the DP World Gate 2. This is race number 4 for Group B. It is Explorer Swiss out in front, US Sail GP in second. Here comes Phil Robertson, Red Bull Italy in third, awfully close quarters. And Nathan Outard says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to split the course. He opts for the other side.
Interesting. I suppose from the Swedish point of view, Artemis are in the final.
Right.
They've just got to, deliver the boat round the course. We see the wind velocity here, so there's more wind where the Swiss are. We can see that nearly 2 kilometres an hour. That should translate to nearly 4 or 5 kilometres an hour more boat speed, but the Swiss have only just manoeuvred. That's why the number at the top of their wing's lower. They're going to start to build speed.
Stevie, you know I trust that Oracle Cloud, but you know who I trust more? Lisa Darmanin, because she's down in the water. Lisa, what can you tell us, and what do the conditions look like now for the rest of this race?
Yeah, I mean, the conditions are dropping throughout the afternoon compared to maybe the first race. But yeah, exactly where the Swiss were, where the USA are right now, there's just a big puff of pressure. It's definitely a lot lighter on that other side where Artemis has gone. But as you guys were saying, I just think they're trying to stay out of trouble because it's getting really congested in this corner as they sort of get towards that grandstand and have to maneuver.
Lisa, if you get close to that grandstand, I mean, how's the vibe down there? The Canadian fans must be thrilled because yesterday it was awfully chilly. Today, it looks balmy.
It is absolutely amazing. When we just watched Canada finish that last race, the crowd was absolutely insane. So big shout out to everyone that's come back and to celebrate and to cheer them on. So really awesome to see them do well. And yeah, it's just amazing for the Halifax fans to see some really epic racing today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what we just seen there as well is the fans are potentially adding a bit of extra boat speed to all the teams. It's massive gain for the boats that went into that side. If Artemis are out there learning about the race course, they're learning that the right turn at the bottom, sorry, the left turn at the bottom is not a good move, because Artemis have lost a lot of distance here. Not very important for them in the race to the final here. What is important is the German team are catching up with the Swiss, but they're going to need a mistake from the Swiss team if they hope to make the final here.
So Hannah, that is your battle out on water. It is between Germany by Deutsche Bank and Explorer Swiss for that second and final transfer position. And there you see the boat positions. The Swiss came in first, they remain in first, US 2 and 2, and the Germans have moved up as they have dropped the Swedes. Artemis way back.
The Swiss have manoeuvred in a bad place, Hannah.
Yeah, they have. I think it's interesting because the Swiss have been starting well. They've been sailing really well, and I think that bit of extra space on the course is really helping them.
Germany could... Oh, the Germans did have the right to dive in there. He's chosen to follow, playing the long game.
Oh, and they spin it.
Yeah, they decided to follow. I think there's definitely more wind for that. That's why I'm a bit surprised the Germans just didn't dive in and try and park everyone up and almost get a restart going on there. Not aggressive from Germany, and they've opened the door for the Swiss to sort of extend away again. But a few little mistakes positioning-wise from the Swiss at the moment.
Their driver, Sebastian Schneider, a 3-time Olympian, 12 national titles. He's at the wheel for Explorer Swiss, having a great race here in Canada. They won their first race. They finished in third in race number 2, and again, finishing fourth in race 3.
Good angle. Happy to stay low. We have more pressure here.
That's the voice of Arno Sarafagas there at the back of the Swiss boat. Wing trimmer. So he's happy with the breeze they've got, but it's all about how lined up there. It looks to me like the Germans might have cut the corner here because they're sailing really good wind shift down the racetrack, and they could make it to gate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a left-hand rotation in the wind, allowing the boats to sail straight down the course here. So potentially another mistake from the Swiss there.
So Hannah, as you look at the screen, you see those wind lines coming across and the intensity of where they are. Are you agreeing with what Lisa Darmanin said? Are you going to swing this boat around and head towards the grandstands?
Well, I think the history of the last couple of laps would say that this right turn at the bottom is definitely strong, but it's changing all of the time. So the strategists particularly have got to have their eyes out of the boat and make sure you're heading the right way.
Looks like Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy with Phil Robertson. They're going to try the other side. Nathan Outard, again, as Stevie's pointed out, playing it safe. They're already into the final, and another hesitation as Germany by Deutsche Bank. Stevie makes an extra maneuver. They're going to opt for the right.
Just rushing things a little bit. I mean, if you want to get yourself on Wikipedia or Google, look up Coriolis, Todd, and that will tell you actually that typically when the land is on the left-hand side of the course, with the wind like this, there will be more wind there. So this is actually science and Mother Nature working well for us right now. But yeah, you can expect more wind in there. That's why the US team are heading there. That's why Lisa Darmanin loves it in on that side of the course. But right now, the Swiss, well, they've made a mistake or two, but they're lucky in that Germany, Deutsche Bank have perhaps made a couple more.
And we know that the breeze is forecast to drop throughout the day. And when we started the day, we were up at sort of 26, 27 kilometers an hour. Now we're down to between 16 and 19. So quite a big change in the weather conditions.
All right.
Probably in the sweet spot for the configuration out there now, Han.
Yeah, I think.
So this is like 5 of 7, the 4th race for Group B here in split fleet racing. They did this, the league, to basically keep the congestion with the conditions that they had yesterday, Stevie. They carried over today, but that gives us a 4-boat final. First time we've seen that in SailGP history.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the teams choose to play it out, and you know, the same things kind of will come into effect. Is how do you find more breeze on the course to get this boat speed up? And the US, they're stretching their leg, they're sailing the boat just aggressively fast around the racetrack. And you can see there, Germany, Deutsche Bank, that missed manoeuvre has let Red Bull Italy pass them. So Phil Robertson, he's looking to sign off here with a good one. But Canfield, well, what a second day that US team have had. And but for one slightly marginally unlucky call in a race yesterday, what a different story it could be. But
that was
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Race number 2 where the US finished in 6th place, and it's coming back to haunt them because they finished 2nd in the first race of today for their group. And it looks like they may take a win here as Taylor Canfield's got Lady Liberty looking very good in Halifax right now. They'll spin the boat around again, opt for that right-hand side. We'll see what Sebastian Snyder and Explorer Swiss do. It looks like he's heading closer to shore. Nope, he's going to spin as well.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more wind in this bottom left-hand corner of our screen here. Germany again, they're not quite close enough to make an aggressive move. I wonder if Phil Roux not pushing it in there at the top of the course last time round. But the Germans have found more wind. You can just tell there's more wind because Germany have passed the Italian team by coming to the side where the US are. So more wind, generally speaking, just means more boat speed.
And as it stands right now, there is your race to the final for Group B. It would be Artemis getting in, even though they sit in 5th place right now. Explorer Swiss would get enough points to take over and hold on to that 2nd position from Germany, Deutsche Bank, and the US SailGP team, as we talked about, just going to miss out, it looks like, because did not have enough points on day number 1.
Turning up in 5, Hans. 3, 2, 1. A nice slow turn, okay?
Nice calm communications on board the US SailGP team as everyone's on that right-hand side. They spin it around the corner and they can see the grandstand and the finish line in the distance. What a way to finish for the US SailGP team as they will get a big win here. And the Emirates winning moment in race number 4 for Group B belongs to the US SailGP squad.
And turning.
They had a really nice race there. Explorer Swiss, well, they look like they've just managed to go around the outside of Germany, Deutsche Bank, who've done pretty well. Germany now have got to be careful. Red Bull Italy, as soon as they overlap, it's right of way Red Bull Italy, and you know Phil Robertson's not going to make it easy for you. That's one thing that's as sure as Christmas coming on the 25th of December. That's an aggressive move by Red Bull Italy.
Umpires. Penalty Germany, not keeping clear, go behind Italy.
That's all. That'll be cleared up now. He was behind at the finish there, so Italy got through to 3rd there. Good work by Phil Robertson and Eric. Well, it's a difficult race for them.
Yeah, Artemis brings it home, and that is the entire Group B. So the USA gets a big win here in Halifax, Canada. And with 4 boats, doesn't really change the dynamic a whole lot. A little tighter at the start. Where do you want to be, especially knowing these characters that you're lined up against?
Well, I think we've seen that the leg to Mark 1 could be pretty long, so you've got to not only be fast at the gun, but you've also got to be sailing the optimal angle. So we'll have to see where that is dependent on the shift, but with 4 boats, it is going to be a different dynamic.
And we'll keep our eye on the wind. As Lisa Darman has been reporting throughout the day, the wind is dropping off. There you see the wind lines there, as you see the direction and the strength. So it will be the Bons Flying Roos that go to the very back of the start box. Switzerland turns in front of them. There's Artemis. They turn in front of them as well, so it's already getting a little messy, Stevie. And here comes Spain.
Yeah, those 2 boats, bottom right-hand corner, that are together are going to be potentially slowing each other up. Interesting fact, we saw it on that graphic before. Australia, they've won a lot of events. Spain have won a lot of events. The Swiss and the Swedish have never won an event in SailGP. Let's keep that in mind as we watch things, as the Rolex pole predictor sits on top of the Swiss boat at the top of the line. Middle of the line's a favoured place to be. I like where Artemis is right now. It's all going to be about the wind-up and the strike, though, from here, as we see Los Gallos dive below Artemis. They come in fast. Great position for Botin, and now we're looking for the line to turn white. It's going to be blanket start. Oh, wow. Take a look at it. That's why they're paid the big bucks as they come out of the line, blazing towards Mark 1. Fastest angle for the Swiss. Tactical advantage to the Australians, but I think the Spanish are perfectly positioned to lead at Mark 1.
Trying to roll this. And trimming up.
And you couldn't have dialed it up any better. 4 wide as they approach Mark 1. This is the event final here in Halifax. 4 boats competing for top honors.
It's tight on the overlap. I think that the Spanish are still just about in control at Mark 1. Just. Oh, that was brilliant there. So now, big advantage to the Spanish. They're lining things up down the course, but you've got to execute this first maneuver. Artemis, they spin away. Got to make something happen. Roll the dice time. Rolex sprint leader, Diego Botín. Accurate maneuvers. Look at the breeze on the shoreline. Lovely gust of wind where the Spanish are right now. Vamos, I understand that. Let's go, guys.
Big trim up when you can get here.
Look at that breeze holding 20 kilometers, just dipping below across the course. Explore Swiss as we go on board, doing a great job making it to the final. They've never won an event. Is today the day for Sebastian Schneider and his crew?
They've done a nice job. They've set in that extra breeze down the boundary. I suspect we probably look for most teams to take that right turn if they can. So Spain in the box seat, Explorer Swiss where they shut down the second. I like the angle where Spain are. Should be able to do a fast exit from here and now. Are you patient on Artemis or do you split? I think you've got to be patient. It looks like a big bias to the right turn at the bottom here.
So as they reach gate number 2, the DP World Gate here in the event final, it is Spain out in front. Explorer Swiss comes in second. The Bons Flying Rouge in third, and Artemis, the rookie team, they sit in fourth.
They're going to spin it on the mark, I think, Todd. They're going to go for a turn straight round here. And a tricky manoeuvre that.
Yeah, really hard to pull off, but it looks like they've done it really nicely. I think if you're at the back, you want an open course, you want options. Whereas if you're at the front, like Los Bias, you're really happy to see everyone following behind you.
And interesting there, because they did it right on the mark, they were over speed for a tricky manoeuvre, and it's not easy foiling manoeuvres out there. So actually Artemis have gained a lot, because look, you see the Swiss manoeuvre on the side, but they fall off the foils. Clever sailing for the Swedish team there. Nice gain. Lisa, that was pretty clever by Artemis. Where do you see the breeze right now?
Yeah, it's not so much where the breeze is, but it looks like the angle is what's sort of hurting everyone that didn't do that maneuver. So Artemis, everyone else is sort of pointing towards the back of Artemis, so I'm expecting them to kind of sail around the bow. So big move by Nathan there. But what we're seeing is that the top of the course is very different to the bottom of the course. So as the next couple of minutes, I think that right-hand side where they're going is really going to start to pay.
We'll see if Lisa is the proverbial Nostradamus in Halifax right now as Artemis makes the turn. Look what's waiting for him. There is Spain right there. They'll dip behind. It is still the Spanish out in front. Artemis now inherits second place. Here comes the Bons Flying Rouge as Switzerland has to dip behind them.
I mean, brilliant by the Spanish. They might not have been perfect at the bottom gate, but they've got themselves right back in. Spain have got to be careful. If the Swedish team can get alongside, it will be right of way then, but the Spanish have gapped off. They're nearly 7 kilometers an hour slower though. This one's going to be tight. Do you think about the Swiss team anymore as those top 3, Hannah, or have they got themselves out of the battle? Different sort of thought process with 4 boats.
Yeah, I think it is a different thought process, but I think the thing is with these 3 boats is they are in phase with the shift and the pressure, so they'll be pretty confident that the Swiss are not in phase, so they should be gaining on the Swiss all of the time. I think if these 3 boats find themselves out of phase, then it's a slightly different conversation.
Yeah, Diego asking Nicole, tell me when they set up. So she's already gone to the other side of the boat. She's watching for some of the Swedish and some of the Australian sailors cross the boat. Brilliant manoeuvre by the Swedish. They make it ahead, and if Slingsby going to keep this amazing run he's been on alive, he's got to make something happen soon here. I suspect all the teams will follow each other right now and wait for the next mistake to play out.
1 down, fast turn, and hit it. Front edge, no?
So on to leg number 4 of 7 here in the event final. Los Gallos still with the lead. Artemis sits in second. Here comes the Bons Flying Rouge.
Spain lead the manoeuvre there. That's an interesting call here.
Better pressure the other way, you're right.
Yeah, so they all like there's more wind in towards the fans on the shoreline is what Slingsby's suggesting. So I think it's a bit of a roll of the dice for Australia right now.
20 boundary.
You see Slingsby looking around. He's not sure of this call.
Hannah, what's he looking for? Tom Slingsby's got his head on a swivel.
Yeah, that's right. And the breeze is really changeable. We know that it's dropping. They've split slightly, and at the moment it doesn't look like it's the right decision, so they'll have to wait a little bit and see. They'll definitely be disappointed to be in third at the moment, and I think probably just keeping pressure on Artemis would have been the thing to do there.
I think because the Spanish, The one advantage normally of leading is you can see things and make the first decision. The disadvantage of leading is you've got to make the decision. If you're in a sort of slower boat, slower moving things, you can often wait for the other people to make a call. Diego was very positive with his decision making there, and that then closed all the options down for the Australians quickly. Another point coming here. Looks like there's less distance for the left turn. So again, potentially the Swedish team are going, oh no, it looks like they're setting up on board Sweden. Outridge is potentially going to split the course here, or look for an early manoeuvre as he did last time. Yeah, expect the Swedish to spin on the mark again.
Right here and soft.
Over speed, should be able to stay foiling.
Yeah, there it is.
I say that, but it's one of the most complicated manoeuvres you can do in sailing. So, but it was brilliantly executed using that extra boat speed that they had, and they're now foiling. Can Spain stay foiling? They're too slow on the numbers. Brilliant by the Swedish again, and they're sailing back towards that side of the course. Lisa, what are you seeing? It's been good on by the fans before. Is this the chance for Artemis?
Yeah, Artemis are in a really strong position here. The pressure sort of moved down the course and strong all the way to the shore. So I think that the Spanish have a bit on here with just a couple maneuvers left.
So we're on leg 5 of 7. It is Artemis that has now moved, not quite in the lead, but as Lisa pointed out, a strong position. They have never won in SailGP before. Their driver, Nathan Outridge, very experienced, but can Los Gallos get their first win of Season 6? The champions in Season 4 trying to desperately hold on to this first place position. Yeah,
and they've managed to keep themselves out of phase. You want to be going the opposite direction to the boat ahead. If he'd waited longer, it would have been an easy decision for the Spanish to make. It's aggressive from the Artemis team here, and they're in a good breeze. You see it's quite a dark patch of water there, so Spain still have a good lead. One manoeuvre ahead is Artemis. But when they meet each other next time, if it's close, Sweden will have the right of way.
Look at the speed on tour up Sweden's mast. They're at 50 kilometers an hour. Spain has dropped down to 38.
Just takes so long to build speed out of the maneuvers with these big foils. So looking a little bit better for Artemis just now.
Yeah, theoretical ladder lines are that way. Favouring, still going 10 kilometres an hour faster. There's just got to be more breeze where Artemis is at the moment. The wind whisperer feels like he's whispering. There you go, if they stick this manoeuvre. Oh, can they stay foiling?
It's Spanish
set up. Oh, Artemis are ahead on paper. They're ahead on paper at the moment. The Bonds Flying Roos are out the back. They've lost a lot here. What do you do on board Artemis? I think it's a right turn favoured. Spain will do the opposite to the Swedish, I would suggest. Here we go. Well, it's going to come down to where there's more wind. They're going to be absolutely neck and neck at the top of the course. 2 more manoeuvres to do for Spain, 1 more for Artemis. Who finds more breeze on the downwind leg? Can Artemis win their first ever race in SailGP?
Or will Spain win their first of the 2026 season, the champions of Season 4? They've been in a bit of a drought. They've been in some finals, but they are looking for the win.
Yeah, there's the Oracle Cloud, Hannah. It looks like a little bit more wind on the Swedish, but Spain look like they've got a good angle. It's potentially a gain to the Spanish at the moment.
Yeah, they did have an extra manoeuvre to do, but it looks like they've pulled that off quite painlessly, and it's going to be really close here.
As soon as you're going downwind, Todd, the manoeuvres aren't as painful. Yep, Spain have got it right. Oh, what a call by Botín at the top of the course there.
Here we go, leg 6 of 7. It's a right-hand turn, and then a championship is win distance. Here comes Nathan Outridge and Artemis. They're speeding on. Here's the maneuver of the match. Can Diego Botín and his crew pull it off? A stay up on the foils, and it's a right-hand turn and a drag race to a win.
2, 1, up.
Spain are nearly matching speed, I think, with Artemis now. If Artemis have got to try and dive outside and look to overlap. Disturbed wind onto the Swedish right now. The Swedish should be getting slowed by the Spanish, and it's controlled to Los Gallos.
As they come to the finish line, vamos, Los Gallos. They will claim the victory and take the win in Halifax.
Oh, what a race. Oh, I've got to say, the last 2 races today were absolutely incredible. Both of them involving this Spanish team.
They've been in 3rd twice, they've been in 2nd twice, but their first win comes in Canada as they get it done in Event 7. And how about this? Explorer Swiss said, you know what? We want to be on the podium. Explorer Swiss will hold on for 3rd place as they get around the Bonds Flying Roos. Great work by Sebastian Snyder. And Tom Slingsby's run of victories, 3 in a row, comes to an end as the Bonds Flying Roos will finish in 4th.
Yeah, but He still extended his lead in that race to Abu Dhabi. And I think for Artemis, second, they'll be gutted. They just currently got their nose ahead in theory, but they were tactically a little bit out of position in that race. But in their race to Abu Dhabi, massive weekend for Artemis.
Vamos.